In a lush forest village in India, a young boy known only as Kid sits cross-legged beside his mother, Neela, her voice warm and steady as she tells him the story of Hanuman, the lord of the monkeys. When Hanuman was just a child, she says, he mistook the blazing sun for a golden mango and tried to devour it whole. The gods, furious at such recklessness, punished him by stripping away his divine powers. But the rest of the story will have to wait, because we are about to meet the man this boy becomes. In the sweat-soaked underbelly of the city of Utana, an adult kid steps into the ring at Tiger's Temple, a grimy underground boxing club. He wears a gorilla mask smeared with flour and water, and the crowd roars, not for him, but for the man about to beat him. Tiger, the foreign promoter who runs this blood-soaked operation, makes the rules perfectly clear to his audience. In this temple, they worship only one god, the Indian rupee. Kid's rival, King Cobra, is awarded the victory while Kid drags himself to the locker rooms without a shred of glory. While cleaning his blood, a flash of memory, fire, a man's silhouette, threatens to pull him under, but he forces himself back to the present. Tiger hands him his reward, half of what Kid expected. When Kid protests, Tiger reminds him with casual contempt that he pays for bleeding, and Kid did not bleed enough. If he wants more money, he should dance like a monkey.
Put on a show, get the money. That's you. With a little pink skirt, if this isn't for you.
Later, at a bar, Kid watches a television report about Baba Shakti, a spiritual guru gaining enormous political influence through religion. Some believe Shakti intends to run for the highest office, backed by the Sovereign Party, a nationalist movement notorious for violent land seizures. Kid watches the screen with the stillness of a man who recognizes that face from somewhere dark. Moments later, an informant approaches with Queenie Kapoor's itinerary. Queenie is the owner of King's, a high society brothel. Kid has a plan, and it starts with her wallet. The next day, through an elaborate chain of street hustlers, beginning with a man pretending to be blind and disabled, Queenie's wallet is stolen and passed through half a dozen hands until it reaches the person who orchestrated it all. Kid, with the wallet as his excuse, he walks into the luxurious King's brothel and returns it personally, asking only for a job. Queenie, a woman who has clawed her way to power in a world built to exclude her, immediately refuses. They do not hire people from the lower classes. But when Kid holds up his grotesquely scarred, heat-hardened hands and tells her they can withstand anything, something shifts behind her calculating eyes. She hires him for the kitchen. Before leaving her office, Kid notices a photograph on the desk, Queenie standing beside Rana Singh. Is there anything behind those dark, unreadable eyes that does not trace back to this one man? The recognition sends a charge through Kid's body, though his face reveals nothing. In the kitchen, Kid adopts the alias Bobby, borrowed, with grim irony, from a cleaning product label, and quietly begins mapping the architecture of King's from the inside. He befriends Alfonso, a gangster who works for Queenie, and witnesses firsthand how this place operates. Queenie distributing her girls to wealthy clients without caring that she is neck-deep in the drug business alongside it. Kid also gathers enough money to visit an arms dealer whose arsenal would make John Wick jealous. But Kid prefers something more discreet, a simple revolver. Hoping to earn Alfonso's trust and climb closer to the VIP floor, Kid invites him to Tiger's Temple and tells him to bet on his rival. At the crucial moment, Kid endures his opponent's attacks, and when he starts bleeding, he sees the ghost of his mother standing among the crowd. As promised, Kid bites the dust, generating a fortune for Alfonso. Grateful and impressed, Alfonso promotes him to bartender, granting access to the main floor of King.
He always has a mushroom stick followed by a kiss. But he's the head of the tax office, so anything is allowed.
In his new position, Kid witnesses firsthand how India's most famous and powerful politicians surrender to their darkest vices behind closed doors. But what he truly wants is access to the VIP room, where Rana Singh resides. For now, he has no choice but to blend in, which proves unbearable. Every time he watches one of these men abuse the women who work there, especially Sita, a quiet young woman whose suffering is impossible to ignore, his mind tears open. No matter how hard he tries to resist, he remembers fragments. A police squad, a corrupt chief, a village in flames. The memories are sharp as glass, piercing through in splintered flashes that leave him breathless. The only thing that pulls him back to the present is an adorable puppy in the back alley. Sita catches him feeding it one evening and warns him, with the weary authority of someone who has learned the hard way, that he should not work at King's if he cannot handle what happens inside. She also tells him to stop feeding the dog, because it will come back every day for more. Far from following her advice, Kid continues caring for and training the animal while also practicing his marksmanship on a street mural. Over time, The dog becomes capable of carrying his concealed revolver through the alley and past the security guards, an asset no one would think to suspect.
Sit.
The night finally comes. Granted VIP access for the first time, Kid distributes vials of cocaine as though they were glasses of wine. And there he is, Rana Singh, the man groping Sita with hands that Kid recognizes from somewhere that burns behind his eyes. After steadying himself, Kid laces Rana's cocaine with powdered glee. The police chief snorts it, grows violently ill, and stumbles to the bathroom, exactly where Kid needs him. In the cold fluorescent light, Kid aims his revolver at Rana, ready to shoot in his mother's name. But Rana Singh did not survive decades of brutality by being careless. Seizing a split-second distraction, the police chief strikes first, and the two men erupt into a savage struggle. A bodyguard stumbles into the chaos and the revolver drops directly into a toilet. Kid wraps the toilet chain around Rana's throat, but Rana overpowers him with brute force, slamming him into the sinks. Just when it seems like the end, Kid pulls a knife from his own leg and drives it into Rana's eye. The police chief reels back howling. Kid smashes the giant fish tank and prepares to throw himself out a window before Rana's backup arrives. Maybe another day. What follows is a desperate flight down emergency stairwells using nothing but bare fists. In the parking lot, Kid commandeers Alfonso's souped-up tuk-tuk and tears into the night, dragging its rightful owner along for the ride. Police cruisers give chase, but using the tuk-tuk's surprising capabilities, Kid threads through narrow streets with the precision of a man who has nothing left to lose. When a girl appears in the road, he brakes hard, and a patrol car crashes into his vehicle. Alfonso slips away, but Kid is arrested. On the way to the station, he summons strength from a reservoir even he did not know existed and fights his captors, Rana's own corrupt officers who do not deserve his mercy. He escapes into the labyrinth of Yutana's streets, only to stumble into the underground den of a psychotic pimp who attacks him with an axe without caring how many people get in his way. Kid subdues the man with his own handcuffs, but the police are closing in. He scrambles across rooftops until a sniper in a police helicopter lands a shot that sends him plummeting into the river below. As he hovers between life and death, he remembers the happiest days of his life, walking through the forest with his mother, her hand warm on his shoulder. Miraculously, Kid is pulled from the water by the women of a local temple dedicated to the Hindu deity Ardhanarishvara, a sanctuary for the Hijra community, transgender and intersex people who live on society's margins. Their leader is Alpha, a fierce and deeply spiritual woman who does not take credit for saving his life. Alpha believes the gods have given him a second chance for a reason. When Kid tries to leave, she warns him that only within the temple walls is he safe. Outside, he is a wanted fugitive. And the Hijra understand what it means to be hunted. Baba Shakti's growing political movement has been systematically targeting their sacred spaces, trying to erase them just as they erased everything Kid once had.
Right.
Meanwhile, after a public demonstration, Shakti receives a visit from Rana Singh, now missing an eye and seething with humiliation, who informs him that some nobody is interfering in their business. Nothing to worry about, he assures. Regardless, Shakti orders him to eliminate this nobody before he becomes somebody. It is the kind of miscalculation that men like Shakti always make, the assumption that the powerless will remain powerless forever. Sensing the depth of Kid's childhood traumas, Alpha helps him face them once and for all, the way any shaman would, using hallucinogenic powders. Before immersing him in this experience, she warns that pain will leave him once it has taught him its lesson, just like Hanuman's story. A crack opens in Kid's chest, or rather, a window, revealing a psychedelic landscape dominated by a golden, shining circle, the sun that the monkey god devoured. And now, at last, the full truth comes flooding in. Kid returns to the destruction of his village, and for the first time, we see it all. Baba Shakti sitting in the comfort of his luxurious car, watching the massacre with serene detachment. Rana Singh's men descending on the villagers with fire and violence. Neela taking her son in her arms and hiding him in a secret compartment beneath their home. Then Rana bursting in, trying to grope Neela, who scratches his face in defiance. The policeman whipping her, abusing her in front of Kid's despairing eyes. Then giving the order to set the village ablaze, with Neela still inside. From his hiding place, the boy saw the matchbox bearing the king's emblem. When the fire spread, he tried to rescue his mother, but the flames burned his hands to ruin. Recalling all of this, Kid tells Alpha he failed his mother, that his hands reached into fire and came back empty. But Alpha sees something different in those scars. She sees a boy who fought until the very end to save the person he loved most in this world. His hands, she tells him, are not marks of failure. They are the hands of a warrior destined to defy the gods, with friends like Alpha, who needs an army. Following the rhythm of a temple drummer, Kid begins hitting a punching bag with a ferocity that shakes the walls. His training sessions grow more intense by the day, drawing the Hydra community in as spectators and then as participants. What began as personal vengeance has become something larger, a collective act of resistance by people told their entire lives they do not matter. Meanwhile, Shakti's puppet candidate Yoshi campaigns on nationalist fervor, and violent demonstrations across Utana make it clear that if this party wins, communities like the Hydra will be swept aside entirely. The stakes become devastatingly personal when a temple woman returns severely beaten, having confronted one of Rana's officers trying to seize their territory. They do not have enough money to bribe the corrupt officials. Alpha assures her community that God has a plan, and judging by the look she gives Kid, that plan has scarred hands and a talent for violence.
Put it on the monkey.
With his last savings, Kid returns to Tiger's temple for one last dance with King Cobra. This time, he bets on himself. He never won before because he never wanted to. Tiger, barely concealing his astonishment, sends in Baloo the bear, a Hulk twice the protagonist's size. Taking his name very seriously, Kid replicates monkey movements to stand up to Baloo, who swings a spiked bat provided by Tiger. Kid dodges effortlessly and floors him with a brutal combination. One of the spectators erupts in cheers, Alfonso, who has kept a low profile since Kid's arrest. The crowd demands more blood, but Kid drops the bat, refusing to finish Baloo off. This only heightens their excitement further, and they chant his name like never before, Monkey Man. Thanks to this epic victory, he earns enough money to save Alpha's temple. After modifying his mask, bleaching the gorilla face white, a rebirth, Kid arrives at the Diwali festival, which brims with frenzied followers celebrating Yoshi's victory for the sovereign party. Shakti and his associates celebrate upstairs at King's, but no one told them about the monkey god who once tried to eat the sun. Kid takes out the guards at the entrance with his fists. It is only the beginning of what will be his toughest battle, though this time he is not alone. Alpha and the temple women, deadlier than they appear, are right behind him. In the elevator, Kid ruthlessly dispatches two guards, biting down on a knife to cause them even more harm. Then he detonates the gas cylinder he left in the kitchen, throwing the sovereign party's celebration into screaming chaos. Armed with fireworks and improvised weapons, Kid reaches the main floor and does what he does best. When the elevator opens with another batch of enemies, Alpha and her warriors arrive at the exact moment they are needed, and what follows is the most epic showdown Kings has ever witnessed. Before Kid reaches the VIP room, an enraged Queenie blocks his path with a pistol. But Sita, quiet, exploited, underestimated Sita, steps forward and takes Queenie out with a serving tray. I think it is safe to say Queenie did not see that coming. Kid takes the tray and uses it to remove one of Queenie's fingers, the thumb he needs for the biometric lock to the penthouse. In the VIP room, Rana Singh greets him with punches and a taunt, asking if Kid's mother sent him back for more suffering. It is exactly the wrong thing to say. With Neela's memory blazing behind his eyes, Kid launches himself at Rana with monkey-like agility, dodging every blow and striking back with the force of a lifetime's worth of grief. He grabs a high heel from the floor and hammers Rana every time the man tries to rise, until Rana Singh stops trying. The corrupt policeman who burned a village and murdered a mother dies on the floor of the brothel he frequented like a king. Using Queenie's severed thumb, Kid unlocks the penthouse where his last target is hiding. Baba Shakti, the self-proclaimed prophet, tries to calm him with a speech about ending the cycle of violence, all while pulling out a concealed blade hidden in his pajakas and stabbing the unsuspecting Kid. However, Kid manages to stop the second blade with his bare, scarred hand, the same hand that once reached into fire, and in a tense, grinding struggle, turned Shakti's own weapons against him. Gasping for air and drowning in his own blood, the false prophet begs for mercy. Kid looks down at the man who destroyed his world and delivers the only judgment left. Only God can forgive you now.
Have mercy.
Only God can forgive you now.
And so ends Monkey Man's revenge. Now only Kid remains, collapsing from his wounds, his blood pooling on the penthouse floor. It is time for him to reunite with his mother. His mind drifts one final time to the forest, to Neela's face, to the warmth of her hand on his cheek, and to Hanuman, the monkey god who forgot his own strength until the moment he needed it most. Whether Kid lives or dies, the film leaves achingly, beautifully ambiguous. But a boy with burned hands fought his way from the gutter to the gods, and the men who thought themselves untouchable learned, far too late, that the most dangerous creature in the jungle is the one with nothing left to lose.